Synchronized boat. Glad the wind's not blowing today.
We'll give a couple more seconds for everybody to take their pictures. This is typical Texas, right? You know, only on cue, and they always sit in the right spot at the right moment to take a picture like this.
They did, they said that.
Yeah, I got it.
You went down this?
This should be, I think,
Can everybody hear me okay? Down the far end over there? Perfect. All right, so what's going to set up here is your typical security zone that if you go anywhere in any sector in the United States, this is operations that go on a daily basis. So what you're going to see is a 3-boat security zone. You'll see a reaction boat that is close to us, right by the rail here, this first boat that you see out in front. And you'll see a couple of other boats on each corner of the zone. The corner of the zone is to my far right where people are standing in the pavilion, and to the far left where the building is over there. That's the security zone that we're establishing here. All right, so the first exercise is beginning. You'll see a supposedly recreational boat coming from the area of the bridge. And you'll hear the communications over the radio about what they do. So this is a typical day out on the water, recreational boater going fishing. Little education going on out there.
I is complying, vessel escorting across security zone.
And he's compliant. They're going to escort him through the zone. What you're going to see about when he gets to about the middle of the zone, you'll see what's called the switch happen between the boat that's doing the escorting and the one that's on the other side of the zone. Meanwhile, the reaction boat that's right in front of us is paying attention to what's going on out there and always is putting him in a position between the target that's out there and the thing that he's protecting. They've switched zones. The recreational boater is continuing on.
Clear security zone.
So the next exercise is going to be someone that's just not as cooperative, decides that they want to try and get past these boats and get towards wherever their destination is. All boats are in position. The next exercise.
Forward inbound. Inbound TOI 2 o'clock.
Now what you're seeing is there's different drivers, right? Those two boats switch zones, so this is another one doing the intercept. But you'll see because of their training, it doesn't matter who's in that position, they can take the spot and fill in for the guy that was there before them. So you'll see the smaller boat can do a little bit more faster maneuvers, but the big boat, his job is to stay in position between the thing he's protecting and the other boat, to turn inside of him. Meanwhile, the reaction boat now is a little bit more on higher alert. He sees what's going on out there. He's now in a position that if they can't stop this guy, to be the next boat in the layer defense to intercept him. You heard the switch come over the radio, because obviously the intercept is now over in this zone. We don't want blue on blue, so they're going to clear out the area and go to the other area. And that concludes that exercise. You saw the whole time, if you were the true high-value asset, the opportunity for the bad guy to get between that law enforcement vessel and the target really didn't exist, and that's what a true layered defense will look like. So what's going to happen right now is they're mustering up by the 87 there, and they're going to conduct what you would see in a pursuit. So as soon as there's a bad guy boat that they encounter offshore or anywhere where Texas Parks and Wildlife operates, and they get involved in a pursuit. What you'll see is there's very specific positions where the boats will remain. You'll see a primary boat, a secondary boat, and what's called a backup boat. The backup boat will be in the rear. And the way these tactics are designed is that if a Coast Guard boat shows up or a CBP boat shows up, everybody knows where everybody's supposed to be and what each other is supposed to do. You'll actually hear very little communications over the radio. The way this is designed is they're just going to watch each other and be able to react to what the other is doing. So they're starting. Again, you're seeing the same smaller boat as the opposing force or target vessel. You'll see a primary vessel, which is the one closest to it, and what he's doing is he's maneuvering up close to do what's called a quick peek. He's taking a look closer at this vessel to see what it is, what they have on board, how many people are on board. You'll see him drop back and do what's called a transition to the other side, or a wake change. He's going to the other side. Now watch his backup boat. His backup boat goes to the opposite side that he's on. So that again, you don't have blue on blue. Also notice they're staying outside of the wakes so that they can maintain maneuverability of their platforms. You'll see another switch here. Wake change. You'll see the Texas boat move up to do another quick peek. Notice how close he's coming. He's doing now what's called an outside loop. And the secondary boat moves up to take primary now. That outside loop could have been caused by anything. It could have been some obstruction in the water that he sees that he wants to get away from. It could be some threat that he saw on board the vessel and he wants to get away from. And now the other boat takes the position and you can see what he's doing. Exact same thing. Crossing away, and now this boat becomes the secondary.
Boat's moving.
So what you just saw is just a small portion of the